Since exercising is so vital, exercise equipment should be accessible to anyone. Those with disabilities, such as visual impairments, are more likely to have chronic illnesses because it is so hard for them to exercise. Visual impairments can be exclusion factors from physical activity interventions. So we created Obstacle Strides, the perfect aftermarket add-on that makes treadmills more accessible for the visually impaired. While our skid is set in a gym, it would make a major impact on those at home.
Hello, welcome to 321 Exercise.
Are you both here to use the equipment?
Oh, I'm not here to run. This is my brother. He is a blind runner.
Yep, I decided to try running on a treadmill since it can be unsafe to run outside.
Hi, welcome to Woody Flower's Workout World.
I am blind and want to run, but I can't find a guide runner, which is the only current solution. My brother can pick me up and drop me off, but he's too busy to help.
Good thing you came here. We have optical strides for the blind. Step on the treadmill and I'll explain how it works.
Unfortunately, we as a gym do not think you should use the treadmill alone.
Yes, there are so many dangers and challenges into using a treadmill when visually impaired or blind. Even if you did hold on to the handrails for stability, you wouldn't move naturally or get a good stride.
The control panel would be nearly impossible to use without a guide. There's no speech output, color contrast, technical markings, and the fonts are very small.
On the Optical Strides panel, the control buttons have corresponding buttons with audio so that the user can identify which button wants to press.
There is also Braille, but even with Braille, audio features are necessary since only 10% of those who are blind can read Braille.
Wow! What kind of technology was used to make this?
The control buttons with audio were coded by the Albots using Adafruit Feather and Arduino Uno.
I can use this treadmill with this panel.
Independence is really important for mental health. It can improve self-esteem, confidence, awareness, motivation, and more.
What if my brother can help me use the panel? I don't know providing the independence I hope for, but it's fine if it means I can safely use the treadmill.
Even then, staying on the treadmill is a huge challenge because a simple misstep could cause the user to fall.
In 2014, 24,000 treadmill injuries were treated at the American Emergency Department. The majority of those treated were sighted.
If a customer gets injured at our gym, that could cause legal problems for our gym as well.
Are there any other ways to use the treadmill alone?
You can tie a rope or bungee cord to the treadmill, and it may provide a sense of safety, but it would have no way of warning you if you were too far forwards or back on the treadmill.
There's an emergency off clip that can be clipped to your clothes. When pulled too far away, the treadmill will shut off, but the stun stop can be dangerous.
Our suggestion is to find a guide runner to run with you outside. I know it may be extremely hard to find a guide runner, but it's our only option.
I love this panel, but what about staying on the treadmill?
Glad you asked.
The optical strides tether is attached to the treadmill, is retractable, and is centered on a belt worn by the user while walking or running.
So how does it help avoid being too close or too far back without the risk of falling off?
Here, where the tether connects to the treadmill, there's an EV3 bridge using a color sensor.
There are different colors on the tether. The sensor senses these colors and gives alerts accordingly.
If the user is moved too far forward on the treadmill, they'll be told to move back. If they move too far back, they'll be told to move forward.
There is also sensory indicators on the sides of the treadmill that will alert the user if they're too close to the sides of the treadmill.
What if you don't have time to move forward or back?
If the tether moves too far forward or too close to the front of the treadmill, the emergency officers will be activated after the warning.
Unfortunately, many gyms seem to assume that people with disabilities do not want to work out, so they never change their equipment for those who do want to exercise.
Wow, it seems like I won't have to help much at all. I know that my brother has been feeling really cut off from the world, and that him and many others who wanted to be more physically active.
I'm so happy I'll be able to exercise independently using optical strides.
The Albot stands with optical strides consults to experts, including visually impaired athletes, Colin Young, a Paralympic swimmer, and Sayun Choi, a runner. Miss Young suggested to us that we work with Jim, and Mr. Choi told us the problems that he experienced with running on a treadmill, and gave us very positive feedback on our solution. Optical strides would be an aftermarket add-on to avoid the cost of having to buy a whole new treadmill. Optical strides would make it safer and easier for those visually impaired or blind to use a treadmill.